Hi, this is Neil at Global Sources Startup Launchpad, and I'm with Angelo of Simplewearable. This is a Simplewearable product, but it is Simplewearables as a company. Angelo, great to meet you, and you've got a very simple product here.
Yes.
It's this thing here, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So this is for what market?
It's a predictive fall detector.
Right.
So it's responsive. If you fall down, it automatically detects a fall and makes a call.
Okay, so lightly for the aged care.
Aged care and at-risk individuals.
Right, okay.
And if you are wearing it every day, it goes beyond measuring steps.
Right.
It analyzes different activity patterns.
Okay.
And it will warn you if your trend of your health is going in the opposite direction.
Okay, so it's collecting data.
Yes.
But the big thing that you are marketing this on is that 270 million people around the world over 60 fall down every year.
Yes.
Okay, so how does this predict that, and what happens when someone falls down?
So when you are in a hospital setting,
yes,
and you get admitted,
yes,
the hospital assesses your risk of falling down.
Okay.
And they do that through several ways.
Right.
Measuring your movements. And instead of doing that once a year or whenever you get admitted to a hospital,
yes,
we do that every day.
Wow.
So we monitor that activity and the risk of falling down every day.
Wow.
So if your risk of falling down goes higher,
right, we
warn you and your care providers.
Wow.
This way we can help predict
yes,
a fall, and it will also lessen the trouble.
Wow, amazing. Now where do you put this? Show us. Let's get a demonstration here. So it's in the pocket here.
Pocket, and if you need an emergency, if you're in an emergency, you just touch it.
Right. Through
the clip itself, because it's a touch sensor.
What happens when you touch that?
When you touch the sensor for 4 seconds, for example, it will make an emergency call to your contact.
Right. And so it's going to call this phone now.
What happened was, since I just triggered an emergency,
yes,
it will send an SMS first to all my emergency contacts.
Right.
About my location, the strength of impact if I fell down.
Right.
And the battery level of the device.
Wow.
Then once it's done that, now it sent me a text message.
Yes.
It will now call me.
Oh, it's calling. So, it's calling now. Awesome.
Then I answer it.
Right.
And then I can talk, and there's a speakerphone in there.
Wow, that's amazing.
This way you have peace of mind knowing where they are and if they're fine in real time.
Right. So, Angelo, what is your funding and marketing strategy? Are you a Kickstarter, Indiegogo?
So we're trying to do actually limited pre-sales through another website, Celery. And then once we've tested the pricing and messaging, we go to Kickstarter.
Wow. So limited pre-sales through another website?
Yes. Through our website.
Through your website?
And then once we've refined the video messaging and the pricing, we go on to a bigger crowdfunding campaign.
So you're actually getting customer feedback?
Yes. And we've been doing that for the past year and a half.
Okay.
Talking to hospital groups, talking to insurance companies, talking to the users, talking to private ambulance companies, which will eventually be our partner in distributors.
Wow, that's amazing. Like you imagine insurance companies would be very interested in this, because it actually reduces their risk.
Right. And helps prevent and predict a more expensive claim.
Yes, absolutely. This is amazing. Now, where was this designed? Hong Kong, China?
So our design team is in LA, Los Angeles.
Right.
Our development team is in Manila in China.
Yes.
And I'm based here in Hong Kong.
Right, so design in LA.
Yes.
Development team, like prototyping.
And the firmware and hardware, China and the Philippines.
China and the Philippines?
Yes.
Wow, so how did the Philippines play a role?
I'm Filipino.
Yes.
And I hired my high school classmates.
Oh, okay.
And we hired the team in Manila.
So your team in Manila is more in the sales, market development?
Hong Kong is market development and sales.
Right.
Manila is firmware and software development.
Wow.
Los Angeles is design.
Wow. Now, at some point in time, you've had to collaborate with a factory in China?
Yes.
And you're still in the process of that because you haven't ramped up sales?
Yeah, we've been partnering with the manufacturer since September last year.
Right.
Helped us design it for manufacturing, figuring out all the problems in mechanical design and hardware design.
Wow, that's amazing. What was your biggest challenge in actually finding the manufacturer? How did you find the manufacturer?
So we've been looking at several manufacturers last year.
Right.
And we compared, not just the pricing, the end pricing, but also the culture inside the manufacturing environment.
Right.
We want to make sure that there's low turnover, because that's when intellectual property leaks.
Yes.
And so we wanted to partner with someone who had high quality, with leverage for bargaining into a lower price.
Right.
So
Okay, they had the capacity for future growth.
yes.
Okay, but initially, what was the kicker in terms of, yeah, this factory is for us?
And a trust.
Trust.
The trust that they won't steal our design and they
Right.
could deliver.
Wow. How did you find the factory? Through recommendation or just through just trial and error?
They approached us actually.
Oh wow.
They wanted to manufacture our device,
Right.
and while evaluating them, we looked at other manufacturers as well for comparison. Just
Wow.
due diligence, basically.
We all know that, and like startups out there looking for the factory and prototyping.
Yes.
It's
a maze.
a maze.
Yeah.
One prototype startup was telling me that they look for the recommendations among their
friends,
startup
yeah.
community.
Yes.
For other people that have actually been successful. But you know there are limits with that too.
Yeah. So what we've done is do limited partnership.
Right.
Having them develop a prototype for us. When we realized that some other manufacturers could not deliver or the quality is not good,
Right.
we switched. So we
Wow.
do a limited testing first to see if it's a fit
Right.
with the quality and design that we want for our company.
Right, yeah, because two different stages of the factory, whether they can make the initial
Yeah.
and then the ramp up stage
Yes.
after that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, very interesting. So you're still in the process of working with this second factory after you switched?
No,
onto the
yeah,
first
so
one?
now we've been partnering with the final factory
Right.
since last year.
Okay.
And we're entering the next stage in manufacturing, which is almost setting up the manufacturing line.
Wow.
When we're done with that and we finalize the design, we launch our crowdfunding.
Because early stage, you're thinking, well, we don't know what our total unit volume would be, right?
Right.
It's not until you start talking to the customers,
Yes.
you start putting a product out there that you get feedback, right?
Yeah.
At that time, you're already talking to a factory and you hope the factory is wondering how many,
Right.
right? But you can't tell them how many.
Until we started pre-selling.
Right. Give us the prototype first, then we'll tell you how
Yeah,
many,
it's
right?
chicken and egg.
It is a bit of a chicken and egg. This is a big challenge.
It is.
Right.
It's always been.
Right.
So I've spent, since I'm in sales, I'm the sales marketing guy.
Right.
And I'm the one testing the idea and the user experience.
Right.
I've been talking to almost as many people as I can,
Wow.
just to see if there's business and
Yes.
if it's viable, if it's sustainable.
Right.
And in the meantime, my development team is the one finishing the product.
Now, originally you worked with the prototyping factory, of course, you switched from them.
Yep.
Were they disappointed when you switched?
They expected that. These are, when
They weren't expecting to do the ramp up on the big thing.
right, they were just a prototype.
Okay, we'll do a prototype, but you pay us a lot of money.
Yep.
All right.
That's happened. And then they said they will find you a manufacturing
Right.
company. But after that initial experience, we decided to move on.
Okay. Prototyping, what are we talking about? Cost of developing something like this? Oh, paying a prototype factory to actually give you the
It
initial
varies
stage.
by the product that
Yeah.
you want.
So we're talking about $5-figure US dollars, something like that?
I can't remember what we spent, but it's significant enough that
Right.
when we switched, it was a little bit painful for
But
us.
initial setting up, maybe 10,000 US plus.
I think around that
Right.
cost, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard numbers like that, between 15,000 US, something like that. Very interesting. Angelo, thank you very much.
Welcome.
I'm sure the listeners, watchers of this, get some ideas for how they can move their prototype or move their startup idea to full volume, which
Yeah, it's a challenge, but it's worth it.
that's great. This is O'Connor with Angelo at the Global Sources Startup Launchpad. Catch you in the next startup. Bye for now.